Welcome to another episode of the Business Altering Hiring and Empowering Solutions podcast. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. And if you're a first-time listener, hopefully you will become a long-time listener. As always, I'm your show host, Molly McGrath, founder of Hiring and Empowering Solutions and creator of this revolutionary podcast. You can check us out at hiringandempowering.com. Today's theme and topic is called Cashing In on Your Time, the fastest and friendliest way to capture website leads, book new clients, and complete client intake for small businesses, in particular law firms, who is our ideal listener of this amazing show. So today's guest is Maddy Martin, Head of Growth and Education for Smith AI, a virtual receptionist and intake service for phone calls and website chat. So welcome, Maddy. Thank you for being our guest today.
Oh, hi, Molly. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, indeed. I heard you on a few other podcasts. I know that there's many other heavy hitters, if you will, in the legal space that are running very, very, very successful law firms, in addition to offering services to help other attorneys with being able to streamline their practices, such as Allison Williams and Seth Price that we spoke about before we started recording today. So I was so grateful to have found you on Allison's Facebook Live. So thank you for being our guest today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm a huge fan of what Allison is doing, mentoring small firm owners.
Yes. So talk to us a little bit about Smith AI and how they started serving small businesses, in particular, capturing and seeing the need in the legal space for outsourced services, in particular, phone services, as well as the website chatbot.
So Smith AI really was created by an engineer and a designer in Silicon Valley who were, working with various small businesses on home and professional products. And we saw that there was a huge need for people who are running small and solo businesses to get help with the actual business management, the communications around your business, the lead intake, and not dropping potential clients just because you're so spread thin on the actual work and service delivery that there's not enough time in the day to run the business. And there's often not a lot of business acumen because these are people who are great at a specific skill set, oftentimes, like a lawyer, a financial advisor, someone who is an IT or marketing professional, but not necessarily someone who has gone to business school or received business training. So now here you are running this specialized service delivery business, and you are, as we've seen in like the latest Clio Legal Trends report, not that confident in your business skills. So what do? You're like, I really love doing this job. I really love working for myself, but I need to put dinner on the table. I don't want to go work for somebody else, some big firm. How do I actually make ends meet, do what I love, and tell people that I'm really good at it and they should hire me? and I know how to, collect revenue and charge for my services and qualify potential clients. Like, these are all things that just because you're really great at being a lawyer don't necessarily come naturally or without training. And what we find is that according to this latest Clio Legal Trends report, 76% are reporting being overworked. 86% want to grow their firms within 3 years, but then the majority say they are not confident in their business skills and have no business training. So how do you actually run a better business if you don't have time, but you have goals? So that's really where we come in. And we realize that the law firms are the ones who are very acutely aware of their value of their time and the opportunity cost of spending time that could be on billable work on administrative or marketing or intake work. So that's really where we found a sweet spot. And the referrals came in strongly, and we've really become well known for being a quality service provider to law firm owners in particular.
And talk to us a little bit about the experience of a law firm. So often, and these percentages are staggering in regards. So can you say those again? 76% feel overworked, and what percentage want to grow their business?
87% want to grow their law firm within 3 years.
Wow.
And this is really like something that I probably say even to my friends at the bar on the weekend, just because I think that it's such a remarkable statistic. But 67% of potential clients for a law firm base their decision to hire on a firm's initial responsiveness. Like, people who are looking to hire you, whether it's a referral or they're searching online, don't know how great you are if you can't pick up the phone or answer their chat or email and tell them. So even if it's a referral, maybe they're getting multiple, they often are. Maybe if it's an online search, they've read all the positive reviews, but they don't know what they don't know until you actually make contact. So the first person who makes contact is going to sell that potential client on why they're the right firm, if they indeed are like properly screening and qualifying them, and that's the case. So they're most likely to win the business just because they picked up and then they got the opportunity to sell why they're such a good fit. It's like oftentimes we see the best service providers not being the best business owners or operators, because there's this idea that it's so clear online or with your testimonials that you're worth waiting for because you're so busy with the work that you've spent time and energy generating. But if you don't realize that the waiting period is hurting your business, then you're missing out on a lot of potential clients. And there's no way to both get work done and be super responsive, because again, everyone's overworked and they don't have the time for the interruptions. And frankly, some interruptions are just not valuable. You know, it's spam or it's unqualified clients, like someone's contacting your firm, which is a family law practice, and they need help with criminal defense or something, right? Like you by screening out those potential clients will have more focused time on intake and generating and selling the best potential clients for your firm. But you can't know any of that if you don't first pick up the phone and explore that opportunity when it's most ripe, so to speak.
It's amazing to me what 67% of potential new clients base their hiring decision based on your responsiveness, your follow-up, that first contact. And I can't tell you how many law firms in this day and age, with the unbelievable amount of information and messaging that we're getting around customer service, client experience, the competition is so strong because, the firm that gets in front of someone quickest, fastest is the one who makes the most noise, is the one that people are going to reach out to first, yada, yada, yada. But I love what you said, that when you call into a law firm, because so many of them that I call into, I'm horrified still in this day and age, how many attorneys answer their own phone. How many of them it goes to voicemail. How many they say, I just need, quote unquote, a receptionist, and they hire someone based on what they could afford, which is typically not a lot of money, and you always pay what you get for. And I tell people, because we do hiring services for law firms, and when they call us, they're like, I just need a receptionist for $12 an hour. I'm like, listen, my 17-year-old's making $12.60 an hour. So I don't know where you think you're going to get just a receptionist, first of all, for that type of money. Number two, that's your sales force. People hire you because they feel acknowledged, they feel safe, they feel understood, and they feel like they are going to get consistent communication from you. So often people will call into law firms, it goes to voicemail, they don't get a response. There's no way. Some law firms, they don't even have their address on their website or their phone number there, which I point out to them, like, oh my gosh, how was my phone number not on my website? I'm like, did you not follow up with your web designer when they created it? And to your point, like, you get to be the attorney, you get to be the entrepreneur. And so often law firms are white knuckling this first point of contact because they believe that they have to create this insane amount of value on that initial phone call or that initial contact as the attorney, as the expert, as the guru. And it's really doing you so much more disservice.
Absolutely. And not only that, why would you get on the phone with anyone before it's even been screened as a good potential client? Because first of all, you can't suffer interruptions like that all the time. So I am not advocating for you, like, being by the phone 24/7 and answering every single call or email instantly and shifting gears constantly. What we find is that even the recovery time from interruptions, and this was from the last year's Clio Legal Trends report, is 23 minutes on average for an attorney. And it happens, like, for the majority more than 6 times a day. That's a 2-hour loss per day just from the recovery time, not even the interruption itself. I am not saying that, like, you should be answering your phone on the first ring every time. And frankly, if you have someone doing it for you, that gives the impression of a bigger firm, and it also sets boundaries and control lines where, as you grow, your first clients don't expect to have your cell phone number or your direct contact on the first ring. They are used to your processes that will be consistent as you grow by reaching someone who's the gatekeeper, and then to schedule time with you or a callback or see if a transfer is possible. But if you have that gatekeeper now, then your experience is consistent as you grow, and there's not a change of expectations from your first set of clients, which I think is important. I think it's good for being professional. And I think that there is a huge opportunity here that's not often directly stated, that if every listener who's on this podcast right now, like, just responds to that client outreach immediately, you will have a massive competitive advantage. And hopefully no one's a competitor listening to this, but this is a huge opportunity for you, because 64% of law firms never respond to a potential client's outreach. That is money on the table for you to grab without a lot of effort.
Yeah, and that percentage, I would assert, is even if you have just a quote unquote receptionist or a part-time receptionist or what have you. When I start having people track every single solitary phone call that comes into their office, either through website or what have you, I am blown away at how often they come with the reporting, and it's pretty and beautiful and everything. And when they meet as a team, it's never accurate. Ever, because people are like, the attorney's like, well, so-and-so called my cell phone, or I did get an email from referral source Bob or what have you. And then they start looking at the calendar and they're like, well, what about this person that came in for initial meeting? And it's not streamlined at all. So to your point, I'm not surprised by that percentage of 64% of law firms never, responding.
I think also, the last year's report, I think it was from Clio, and the reason I cite it so much is just it's such specific law firm data, because then we don't get into the whole argument of, the average consumer is not the law firm consumer. Like, it's specific to this industry, although industry statistics do apply to law firms. What we also saw is that 33% of potential clients are saying that they feel urgency to hire a lawyer, and 15% of lawyers sense clients' urgency to hire them. And I was just looking at that the other day and thinking what a staggering statistic and opportunity that there is a disconnect between the urgency a client feels and the urgency a lawyer feels through that client contacting them. Like if you're not in touch with the sense of urgency from your potential clients, like that could actually be hurting your business, and you may not feel like you have the wherewithal to respond to that urgency in the timeliness that people need, which is totally reasonable. Like for a solo small firm, it's not possible to be doing all of these things by yourself. So it becomes a question then of what can you delegate, what can you automate or streamline that is within your comfort zone, that is ethical, that is affordable, and that doesn't, take, a huge amount of time to implement. Like what can be done right now. And that's why we really see such success with outsourced receptionists and the web chat, even the automated bot. Like if it's just about response time, then we actually not only, can serve our clients with the live staff, but things like really well-honed chatbots that expect certain questions and have programmed consistent answers can really drive a lot of the addressable need here by saying, let me get you that answer. And what we see that's fascinating to me is that people are really willing to disclose information that helps you screen them as a potential client by text, more so even than by voice. So like people are really willing to share information when they're typing it out, and less willing to do so on the phone when they're really speaking it to somebody.
Yeah, I always say that people love to hide out behind technology, so to speak. They'll give you overshare and give you so much information in email, in text, in the written format. And as almost like an icebreaker, if you will, where they will, that's at least my experience. I will get 3-paragraph emails from my website when people will fill it out in the contact box versus an initial phone call. When you get on the phone, they're like, what does it cost? What am I getting? But versus just almost it's oversharing, which is great. Over communicating is fantastic. I want us to talk about this chatbot. And here's why, because nobody's talking about this, Maddy, at all in the legal space. In the 20 some years that I've been in it, I've seen it and I've witnessed it. But I really want to highlight something you just said. There's a disconnect between the urgency for the lawyer feels and the client feels. And I want to bring it full circle to a point you made in the beginning of this podcast where you said you're worth waiting for. And the client will believe that when they have consistent communication with you, because the flip side of what you said is often the attorney will take whatever is hottest on top, whatever has the most hair on fire feeling for them, which isn't actually true. So if you're answering your own phones, you're not really having a systematic approach to the front lines of your business in the front of the house, if you will, in your intake process, then you're just juggling whatever's coming at you. So something could come to a phone call. And to your point, you're on the phone for 23 minutes with somebody who is unqualified, and they just want to get as much tips and techniques they can out of that time. And as long as you tolerate it and allow it, they'll gladly take your time, especially when they're not writing you a check. So I love that you said that. And I think this goes to your point, and I think it ties in very nicely with this chatbot of really being able, also, it's almost like a screener, if you will, to really sense the urgency, number one, and sense the if it's an avatar and a qualified client for you, because they will give you so much information in the chat box. So talk to us about this chat box. I know myself, I was even thinking before we even recorded today of how often I use the chat box there on the website. So if I'm on a a call. For example, I even thought about this. I was calling the IRS because I got a notice. I needed to fix something with my taxes. Well, as we all know, I'm on the phone literally for over 90 minutes. And of that, like 75 of it was sitting on hold. And I had a list of to-dos that I wanted to do. One was a software system that I wanted to invest in for LinkedIn. Just a lot of things that I needed to implement from a technology or a service perspective for my business. And I went to the website. I was sent to a calendar link. And I was just so amazed at how much I got done in that time while I was sitting on the phone on hold.
It's really remarkable what chat can do, not only in giving answers, but also in steering conversations. So what we say, we use the word playbook actually to describe the sequenced conversations that we can program, or we can help you program for your website. But we actually have work with a Connecticut law firm where they're doing a full intake in 13 minutes on their website with like no call time, no attorney interruption. They are actually able to capture screen and to convert to a new potential client call in 13 minutes with the chatbot programmed questions and answers, and capturing that information in a way that actually in 13 minutes, that person is being helped. They can do it also, and this is really important, discreetly. So yes, people are willing to just like unload through their thumbs rather than their tongues, so to speak. But you also want to make sure that in a law firm like immigration or family law or plenty of areas where there are sensitive discussions to be had, not everyone, many of whom are working, right, like want to have their coworkers or other people overhear why they're calling a lawyer or that they're calling a lawyer in the first place. So it's really nice to be able to, without having to hunt down someone's email or evaluating their website or trying to figure out what you need to read, having this sort of like quick search and connect option of a chatbot that allows you to stay at your desk or on your phone, access the website, and sort of start typing in silently, what you need from a law firm potentially and what situation you're going through, because people really are not as comfortable and should be careful, frankly, having things overheard. And maybe it's not appropriate, or maybe it's just not within their comfort zone, but it's a really nice, discreet option to offer to your potential clients.
I never even thought of that. That's fantastic. I love that statement that you said, unload through their thumbs versus, what was that?
Their tongues.
Their tongues. That was great. It's true. Where you're able to efficiently, if you need to call, whether you have to put mom in a nursing home or what have you, and you're sitting there in the hospital and you're Google searching an elder law attorney or what, just even that ability to download right then and there, especially when you get a response that says, absolutely, we can help you.
Right. So, and here is the greatest service. If you have these people who are good potential clients or not, and they will take your time on the phone, if you are the law firm owner, it is really hard to separate yourself and to follow the guidelines actually that like a contract service or outsourced service is going to have to follow, because they have to follow your directions, but you sort of can be more lenient with yourself. And it's the same thing on chat. If you program answers, they're consistent every time. If you have an intake process that asks the same questions, you get that form filled out or that lead into, Clio Grow or whatever, intake software you're using. Every time you get the full chat transcript, it's like your notes are not incomplete. You didn't take the time and get a little bit, off schedule because you had a 15-minute phone call when you weren't expecting one. Even if that person is a good potential client, it's just not necessary to have that interruption. And it's way more consistent to have it programmed with these answers and with this sort of like steering workflow that you can have with a chatbot. And not only that, but actually I mean, I'd be remiss to mention that like you can actually have this implemented on text too. So if someone is texting your business number, then we actually respond to those text messages with live sort of chat agents who can receive that incoming message either on your website or via text. And then once someone is screened, in any form of this communication that's happening, phone, chat, or text, then we use that calendar link. So you've got this gatekeeper that's sort of saying, we know your criteria for your specific law firm. We'll use whatever calendaring program you use. We're not going to dictate that. We're totally agnostic. And then if you charge for a consultation, for example, because you know these conversations run on and you're giving valuable content on those calls, maybe you charge for them. We take the credit card on the phone. So that entire loop is closed. You don't have to hunt down the payment for the consult. It's already been captured. And you don't have to worry about your time being wasted from people who first connect with you on chat, because that screening has taken place. And then for the best potential clients, if you're crediting that payment to their first bill, you also have this opportunity for them to sort of give themselves a gut check, a little check of whether or not this firm is the right fit for you, because they're not going to share everything under the sun that like may or may not qualify them to be a potential client. There are things that they know that when they see that price tag, they may think to themselves, and we see this often, am I really ready to hire an attorney, or am I just wasting my time? Because when it starts to cost them money, they'll be more protective of their time and yours.
Mm. And so talk to us a little bit about the process. Hearing you talk, it just is a no-brainer for me because, like you said, for that law firm, they've drilled down their intake process to 13 minutes. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. It's remarkable.
It's remarkable. And the client is unloading, sharing, giving you valuable content. I'm even thinking, the questions that they're asking, the statements that they're saying in that chat box, the marketer and me goes wild to be able to capture all that and use that content and those exact words straight out of the client's mouth for your content, for your blogs, for your podcast, or, your FAQs, whatever you have, because if one person's asking it, there's 100 thinking it. And so I love that. I'm just sitting here like, wow, that's another multiplier. But they chat with you. You have somebody that's answering, your client service coordinator or whomever, and then you're also getting that content, right? Does it not connect with your CRM through Clio Grow or whatever you're using to be able to capture that lead?
Oh, it absolutely does. So you see it on your calendar. They see it on their calendar. You have the entire chat transcript and contact information logged in your software. So you are extremely informed about that new potential client when you have that consult scheduled or for any follow-up, because the entire transcript is there. It's like, as if you're dictating the entire phone call, but even better because there was no interruption. That's all in there with the name, phone number, email, and then you're not asking for them to regurgitate all this information or wasting time on the consult. You can just hit the ground running because you're prepared for that conversation. And one thing that I will say, which you hit on, and I have to say, like, not a lot of people identify that connection to the SEO, and it is such a hack to improving your website, because you will find out so much information about what people don't understand or can't find, or just like is missing from your website. If you have this collection point for all of their questions, like, are you working on car wrecks, but they're using the words car accident? That's a huge improvement to your SEO or FAQ or blog post that you're writing, to know that, like, most times when people chat in, they're actually using the word accident and not wreck. Like, that would be something that I would immediately implement on my website. And then the other thing that I would say is that it functions like a search bar, because most businesses don't have search, small businesses don't have search on their website like Amazon does. And what we find is that because Google has, through analytics, really blocked all those keywords that we see coming through at volume to the website, you have an ability to be that search and to collect those same keywords that they are or would have typed into Google. So people are phrasing things the exact same way on Google that they are on your website in your chat. Let's say that they're asking about, like, how much is it going to cost me to resolve this DUI issue? That's exactly the same sort of phrasing if they use that phrasing in your chat. So you can get a bigger clue into those keywords that you're blind to, which Google has sort of removed most access to, by just having this sort of open conduit to that information.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I didn't even think of that. You took it even another level further. So attorneys that, you're spending all this money on Google AdWords or other digital strategies, this is valuable information. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you don't have the budget and that's not a strategy that you have the time, energy, or resources to implement. This is a way to get a 2-for-1, if you will, in regards to, you're exactly right. The words that they type in are the exact, even when I get my analytics from my social media team, and I see the keywords that people type in to get to my website, it's exact words they use on the phone or that they put in their email to me. So you get the written word. And for those of you that say you don't have time for marketing, you don't know what to blog about, you don't know what to talk about, you don't know what to put in your FAQ, you're getting all of this hand delivered to you on a golden platter with this website chat modality.
You are, exactly. And what's actually really amazing, and I can't like say that this is available yet. We're about to release it, but if you're interested, email us at hello@smith.ai. But we are in the process of also rolling in a lot of other communication platforms that we can respond to, so you have consistent answers and process across all of your properties. So you mentioned social media. Facebook Messenger is something that we're actually in the process of integrating with, and we will have that very shortly. So depending on when this airs, we may already have it rolled out. But what's really important is that no matter whether someone calls or visits your website or texts you, and if you don't think they're texting you, they probably are. You may not just have business text enabled. They are on your Facebook page, wherever. We will be able to actually have this sort of knowledge base, answers to common questions, these sequenced conversations for intake screening, all of that omni-channel, so to speak. So no matter what they prefer to use to get in touch with you, they'll get a consistent response and sort of follow-up flow from your law firm, which is really important. That, like, if we think about responsiveness, going back to the very beginning, that 2 out of 3 potential clients base their decision to hire on your initial responsiveness. It is really important that we consider not just speed, but also the content and the channel through which they're trying to get in touch. Because if you're really fast and it's only on one channel, it doesn't matter. If you're really fast and you don't give them the information that they're looking for or that you need to determine if they're a good potential client, it doesn't matter. So that's why we really heavily emphasize being consistent across all of these platforms, being fast across all of these platforms, so that whatever their preference, you meet them there.
What are some objections, if any? What are some things you've heard from attorneys? If you could think off the top of your head of why they feel that this is not just a no-brainer decision to put the website chat on their website.
I think that some people feel they don't have enough traffic to warrant it. And to that, I would say, get the free chatbot, It's super easy to install and it works on every single website, hosting platform. And you will at least not miss a potential client, and you will also get that SEO benefit of the keywords and the comments that people are using and leaving on your site, so that will inform how you can better shape the content on your site to attract more and better clients. I would also say that if you think you have low traffic, keep in mind that any potential client, like even if it's just, seldom, they could be missed. And a free chatbot doesn't need to have a value other than existing if there's no cost to just that capture point of someone on your website. So oftentimes we find that the objections are based on the unknown. And that's why we really wanted to release this free service, this solution where the chatbot lives there. It's unlimited conversations. You get some Q&A and a playbook to implement at no cost. And that will allow you to at least see what are people saying on your website. Open up those doors for them to communicate with you there, and then determine, is it useful? But without it even being there, that assumption is potentially missing direct business or business that could be generated through better content on your site.
And from an implementation perspective, so hopefully every single one of our listeners are going to take you up on this. What in regards to it? So I say yes, and I take you up on this amazing offer. I know people get overwhelmed by technology and the implementation and what it takes to get something deployed and launched. How hard and what does that process look like?
Man, it's pretty easy, honestly. It's remarkable what the engineering team here has done. But once you sign up, you will be directed through sort of a little workflow. We need some information on your business. What color should it be? How does it match and look great on your website? It's already mobile optimized. You don't have to do anything for that. But then you'll get a little bit of code and some directions that say, here's how to put it on your Wix site or your WordPress site or whatever, Weebly. And you can do it yourself. You can share it with your web designer or your friend who's been updating your website, or you can say, hey, Smith AI, we want you to do it for us. And we are happy to do that. If you go with the full live staffed chat service, then we will do that for free. If you have the free chatbot and you say, hey, I really want to get this up, I need your help, then there's a small fee. And if you also want help like programming your chat, we can do that for you for a fee. Or if you have the live staff, then we actually automatically will have like the live chat agents adding new sort of inventory to your knowledge base on your chat. So building and adding common questions and their vetted answers that you're reviewing with us together. And we can identify the things that we weren't able to automatically answer and to show you those as opportunities for improving that sort of preset Q&A where we have a known question and then a response. And one of the coolest things also, I would say, is that we have for the live staff chat service, real-time instant English-Spanish translation, because we have seen such a huge demand for immigration attorneys recently. And their need, and this goes back to the very beginning of this conversation, like why do you have staff who maybe are not most efficiently being used, or you feel constrained about the talent pool that you can hire? If you have people who are on staff, and I was just talking to an attorney the other day about this, because they hold a skill set that you don't think is easily replaceable. Like this person had an assistant who was bilingual, and that was something they had really a lot of trouble replacing, and they were sort of sacrificing quality for that bilingual skill set. Go ahead and hire someone in-house who really is doing great work for you if you need that solution. But if you can outsource something to a service that has that bilingual capability, then maybe it restructures how you think about what you need truly in-house. So what we're able to do on the phone, we have bilingual receptionists. That's a no-brainer. But on the chat, this is where the AI, kind of comes in our name, is an English speaking chat agent actually receiving a Spanish language chat on your website for you can automatically translate back and forth. So that Spanish chat shows in English to that person, the English shows in Spanish translated to the web visitor, and it's really a seamless conversation. So even if you need to hand this off and you need that capability for the language, responsiveness through both English and Spanish, then this is a solution that can work for you.
We were just hiring for 2 separate law firms in South Florida. So you think it'd be very, very easy to be able to find a Spanish-speaking intake coordinator, receptionist, scheduler, etc. No kidding. So my South Florida people that are listening that have a need for that, which is particularly the area that we see that a lot, in addition to in California, which is just coming top of mind to me right now. That's phenomenal. I love that you have this service, because you see that all the time, even on social media, on Facebook, etc. People will reply in different languages. I have some clients that are in Tokyo, what have you, and you can just hit the translate button. It's so phenomenal that you can follow the conversation, number one. But how great of a service. So please, attorneys, listen up to this. This is incredible. I have many, many clients that have a need for that Spanish speaking. I'm delighted to hear that you offer that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, frankly, it breaks my heart that there are small business owners or law firm owners who feel like held captive by their staff who have one skill set they find hard to replace. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't have someone bilingual who can do this, frontline receptionist work for me. This is literally the conversation I had with this person the other day. And they were saying, I have no idea if they're doing their job properly, or if they're, following up with people or answering the phone politely. Like, maybe they're sometimes rude, or they're not really doing their job, but man, they're bilingual and I can't replace them. And it's like, that is so heartbreaking and frustrating, because you don't have the time to go find this, like, sometimes unicorn, person for your staff. Focus on the legal work, the really essential things that need to be done in-house. And then not only can you get someone who can speak, English and Spanish, but also you get all of these other amazing features and many, 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 I mean, frankly, 100 or more, like, people who can answer your calls or chats or whatever. So if you still just have one person in the office, what happens when they're sick or they have other work to do? Then you go back to being unresponsive. So think about, like, the ability to have consistent results every time by using a team that has the capacity to handle sort of that overflow, that multi-communication that can come in all at once.
Wow. Okay, well, great. So how do we reach you in regards to taking advantage of this amazing offer you're leaving us with free service and trying out the website chat?
Yeah. So, right. So you can, first of all, chatbot is totally free, and you can always switch back and forth between the live staff and, the chatbot service. So don't worry if you get started with one and you want another. But if you visit smith.ai, then you will see the options for our receptionist service and for the chat. If you click on the chat page, you'll see the free chatbot as an option, or you can do the full staffed live chat, and there's a 10 chat free trial for that. And you can sign up for either one. There's no risk. And if you have any questions, you can chat with us on our website. And it's very funny, right? Or you can email us at hello@smith.ai. And in addition to the free trial, you will get, thanks to Molly, $100 off your first paid month, or any service that costs money. If you want to do that, installation, or you want to try unlimited, like, playbooks or Q&A or some upgrade, you want to add custom programming, you get $100 off any sort of fee-driven thing with Smith AI with the code Molly100. So Molly100.
Great. Thank you for that. Wonderful.
Of course.
Okay, well, thank you, Maddy, so much for your precious time today. I really appreciate it. I think this is a good stopping point for us right now. And again, in the show notes, we will have all the links in addition to the coupon codes. And I cannot recommend enough that you take advantage of this offer and really up-level it in regards to using it, as Maddy had said, from an SEO perspective and for your content, your marketing content for your blogging, your FAQs, etc. It is absolutely a no-brainer. So thank you for being our guest today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Molly. Thanks for having me.
Indeed. This has been another episode of Hiring and Empowering Solutions podcast, where legal dream teams of entrepreneurs in the entrepreneurs world really do come true. Until next time.